Sorry,
Burnett.
team. Oh,
Hi, folks. Vision Care World. We're here at OMS, the Optometric Management Symposium in Orlando, Florida. We're in the exhibit hall / lunch area. We'll have a lot of people coming in soon, but we wanted to go over some research that we do every year at OMS. And it's a best practice for us to do that during the show, after the show. We do it during the year to find out what the issues are with ECPs as far as what they need, what their concerns are, what their challenges are. And we'll go through that in a couple of minutes. I'm Mark Durrick, the group publisher of Optometric Management, Contact Lens Spectrum, and Eye Care Business Magazine. I'm with Erinn Morgan, our editorial director and editor-in-chief of Contact Lens Spectrum and Eye Care Business Magazine. And we'll go through the survey and we'll pick out some highlights that we thought would be valuable to present today.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for joining me, Mark.
You're welcome.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you all for joining us. We have some really cool survey results. Our social media manager, Erica, is on the back end here, and she is going to scroll through as we go through them. And we're just going to kind of talk about these results a little bit anecdotally because there's some interesting takeaways. So as Mark mentioned, we survey our readers, optometrists, specifically for this survey. Across the country, and we have really cool results on kind of key takeaways and opinions and future directions for optometric practices and what they're thinking for the future. So we'll start here. I know we're on our opening slide just to show you here our next slide. So the Optometric Management Symposium is brought to you by Contact Lens Spectrum, Optometric Management Magazine, and also Eye Care Business. There is clinical track, GSLS, contact lens track here. There's an EB retail strategies track and practice management tracks here as well. Just stacked with great education at OMS for 3.5 days. We're on day 2. And as Mark mentioned, we are here in the exhibit hall. It is about to open for lunch. So you may see some folks coming up behind us. But we are, here in the exhibit hall, and there should be some excitement coming in here soon. So heading on to the next slide on practice revenue. So we asked our readers, what is your anticipated practice growth year over year, 2023 over 2022? As you can see here from the slide, I'm gonna put my glasses on for this because it's small. The key, almost 45% of our respondents said 0 to 5%, smaller percentage expected for growth. We've run some articles, we've tapped some economic experts in our current issues, and they have said 2024 may be a slower year, slightly slower, but we in Eye Care Business, we have a fantastic article on 2024 economic predictions for eye care professionals, written by Brian Bolio of ITR Economics. It's really a great read. So if you get on eyecarebusiness.com, you can go there and check that out. And he gives some really great strategies and tips for how to handle that slowdown, what to focus on, and where to put your energies and your efforts to ramp up for future.
Right, exactly. And then this wasn't on this particular survey, but what's happening now in the industry, and it's actually happened over the last, really since COVID, but the eye care practitioners who own the practices now, they're limiting the amount of vendors that they do business with. So it's sort of a quality over quantity type of respect when it comes to products and services. So that's a big challenge, I think, for the market in general, not only for the ECPs to make sure they're picking the right products and services, but the vendors need to really step up their game by providing extra service, make sure the products are all on time and the quality is there, because the ECPs are scrutinizing the industry right now.
Definitely. Yeah. It's definitely going to continue that way. So heading on to the next slide, which segment of your practice is growing the most? So this is interesting, and we've had a lot of discussion here at OMS about this, and that's why the clinical medical track exists at the Optometric Management Symposium. It's a really fast growing area. Optometrists are focusing on the medical side of the business, certainly not forgetting kind of their roots in contact lenses, in the optical, in retail. in exams, but really expanding in medical. So you can see that here on these results. And then heading to the next slide, we found this really interesting. We were talking about this earlier, but are hiring and retention currently an issue in your practice? We know there's been a real staffing crisis, not just in optometry, but in every industry around the world since COVID. But here we're seeing 50% say yes and 50% say no.
Yeah, interesting.
It is very interesting. And then heading to the next slide.
I think staff training too. I think it's been like maybe 5 years in a row, right? That's been the biggest
challenge,
for the industry in general. So, and that'll continue to do so. And we have a lot of tracks here focusing on that particular aspect. One is a big one tomorrow, I think.
Yes, it's called the Staffing Crisis series, and it's Diana Canto-Sims. Dr. Canto-Sims is giving that and talking about. She did this similar course last year here at OMS. It was really very well attended, very well received. But as you can see on this next slide, which of these do you need in your practice today? Number one was staff training. So as you said, that's been the top for years. And then more staff is number two. So it's interesting because of the previous slide results are kind of interesting, but maybe some folks are kind of getting it dialed in, but staff training now is really an issue.
You probably could actually do an event like this just on staff training.
No doubt.
So,
which is actually not a bad idea.
Something to think about, folks. Stay tuned.
The staffing challenge is the next slide. So what are you currently doing to help your practice attract, train, and retain staff? So these are just some verbatims that our respondents gave us. Weekly staff meetings, paid time off, developing more complete benefits packages, increasing social media presence, extra training hours, using Covalent Careers, Indeed, for finding workers, treat them well. So we've done a lot of, we have a staff training column in Eye Care Business Magazine that runs every issue. It's been running for many years, started with COVID, and it is a very popular column. We started with 1 page, now it's expanded to 2-page column, and we cover a lot of this, but we're finding that kind of holistic view of your, providing benefits for your staff, even wellness benefits for the staff, has been a real good tool for retaining, retaining staff.
We even have a newsletter, a monthly newsletter that we launched this year on staff training. So it's something that we're going to continue to focus on heavily. So.
Definitely. That's great tip, and that's on our website on eyecarebusiness.com as well. That staff training newsletter, all the archive is there. The next slide, in which areas have you increased pricing? So this is interesting, right? Because the almost 50% said everywhere.
Right.
Increased
it's like
prices.
The restaurant industry.
Exactly.
Everybody's raising their prices.
I just was at a restaurant where they charged a surcharge for the gas in the heater, like if you sat outside at a table with a heater, they charge a surcharge on your bill for that heating, like the gas, the propane or whatever was in there. So anyway, everybody's raising prices, inflation, right?
And they don't come down. So
no,
once they go up, they don't come down.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it's been challenging times. Everybody's trying to make money back that they lost in COVID. So the next slide is the big retail challenge. What is the one biggest challenge right now in your optical retail side of your practice? So the product side, and I'll just read a few of these, but myopia management, there's a lot of courses here today and tomorrow on myopia management, the staff role in myopia management, as we live streamed this morning with Dr. Wallace Tucker. There are a lot of products poised to be approved and to come into our market on myopia management area. And it's the perfect time to train staff and to be trained and educated to be ready for when those come in, to really hit the ground running with myopia management, if that's an interest for your practice. Few upgrades from patients, competition, online purchasing by patients, definitely a big retail challenge we hear all the time, keeping up with inflation, third-party vision plans, explaining to patients the restrictions of vision plans. A lot of challenges out there, for sure. But then on the flip side,
I saw one thing that popped up. We're doing this on the fly, so sorry, we haven't rehearsed any of this. But on the, we've discontinued taking vision care plans 8 years ago, and that, the whole insurance thing has been a major pain point since we've been in the industry forever now. But there's also an opportunity to get the most out of insurance. So I think eye care practitioners need to be educated on how to work the system. You know what I mean?
And
so
work
I think
with the system.
that's a little concerning to me, because that, if you don't have insurance, you're missing a lot of traffic, a lot of people. So
and not serving a lot of patients that need, to be served.
So that's
can't
something
afford
that,
it
I mean, I
otherwise.
think I would probably take a look at if I was an eye care professional, to be honest with you, because Luxottica did a survey, I don't know how many years ago now, 5-6 years ago, and they said that $8 billion walk out the door every year from clients, getting their eye exam and then buying online or something like that.
At the independent optometrist.
Right. So there's,
that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So, I mean, incorporating, insurance plans back in your practice might be something where you can, capture a lot of those people that are walking out the door. So.
Awesome. Well, and then on to this slide, the retail opportunities slide. What is the biggest area of opportunity right now on the optical retail side of your business? So we have, myopia management, myopia control lenses. Definitely, that's another one. Myopia management, multiple pair sales, and we have AR. We have UV sunglasses. We know that second pair sales, that is really a huge thing, and with prescription sunglasses, we see that a lot. And then blue light lenses, blue light blocking lenses, blue light filtering lenses for younger patients, computer eyewear, that kind of stuff seems to be a real big area of opportunity.
Sure.
And then the first person mentions high end, and a lot of folks have moved into that area, or added more of that. This person has a large selection of killer frames from high end to the economy end that still look cool. So just really curating your own assortment, merchandising that mix of product in the right way, to really appeal to patients. So unfortunately, our optometry's key challenges slide fell off, so we're going to just skip that and go to the last slide, gratitude in practice. What do you love about optometry? Which is always a fun one. So flexibility, the relationships I have built over the years. I love the patient interactions. Every day is different. Working with patients, running a small business, working with people, developing relationships, watching families grow, helping people solve vision issues. Really cool feedback here. Every day we make a real difference in someone's life. We love providing compassionate service that recognizes each patient as an individual. Really inspiring to see that. And it feels like that's kind of what the Optometric Management Symposium is all about too. We've seen a lot of this. We see that passion in practice, and from the speakers and the attendees and the people who are really engaged with learning and learning to grow their practice. So really good stuff.
It is good stuff. And then, with myopia, front and center right now, it's, addressing the, vision care issues. Now, parents have an opportunity now to make sure that their children are protected. They know what myopia is. How do they speak to their doctor about treating it if that's an issue? So that myopia in itself for the next, I don't know how many years, is going to be a huge topic, and an opportunity for ECPs too, as far as increasing revenue at their practice by providing great care on that front.
And elevating that patient experience and really providing that personal experience and making a difference in someone's life, a big difference. So that's great. And on to our last slide. We're just going to tease our next conference from Pentavision, powered by Broadcast Med. That is the Global Specialty Lens Symposium, coming up really fast here in January in Las Vegas.
December 1st already today. Wow.
It's hard to believe. So like 6 weeks, we'll see you in Vegas. It is January 17th through 20th at the Horseshoe in Vegas, the Global Specialty Lens Symposium. If you have an interest in contact lenses, in specialty contact lenses, it is the place to be. It's a cool conference and lots of fantastic continuing education days of that just kind of packed in there. So,
and you get it's global, obviously, and I think last year we had 34 countries. So you can if you come to the event, you can see what other countries are doing, which it's different from what they're doing here.
Which is
and
fantastic
which
to
is
see.
another perspective. Yeah. So we look forward to seeing you there, hopefully.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, Mark.
Okay. Thanks, Erinn.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always fun to chat. Thank you all for joining us. And we'll be doing more live streaming from OMS.
And thanks to Pete for holding it for like 20 minutes here. Yeah.
We have an awesome camera person, director of all things.
You can't see him,
back
but he's
there.
great. Trust me.
Yeah. So thank you all, and we'll see you again soon.